Hello, everybody. Ryan Carpenter here with No BS Golf, presented to you by P45 Knuckle Down Golf. That's right. As you know, if you are paying attention, right here, Central Georgia, P45 Knuckle Down Golf, partnering with the Golf Pub. That's right. The best facility for us to take you to a whole nother level of play. I'm going to call it the 7-shot thing. That's what Golf Tech's got going on right now. They're saying it's the 7-shot deal. Well, sounds about right. For most people, you put in a good amount of time. That's what we're going to talk about a little bit more today. And you do it right. You stick to it. It's 7 shots, pretty reasonable. I can usually find within a player's outlay their first round of the year coming up this weekend for some of my students. Spring is springing. Spring is springing. It's here. We got some nice days coming right now. And so down here in the South anyways, and not back home, Kansas City is still cold, but last night was a great example with a student. And, we probably put in about a 2-hour session because, he's all of a sudden it's like, well, we decided to go play this weekend. Okay, well, good. But all of a sudden, as we started talking through things, we've been on one path for a while, and it's called the development path. So there's development and then what I call preparation. And those are the two things we're supposed to be doing when we're trying to get ready to play our best golf. And almost nobody has enough preparation time. That's the problem. But again, that's just another – time is the reoccurring theme here. Time. And so as we were going through prepping for how to take this to the course and try to be able to, do his best to apply it for the weekend, we're keeping in mind the progress we've made and how we want to not, come backwards as best as possible, hopefully, and stick to the pattern, stick to where we've been going. And so we worked our way through that. We pulled up a bunch of different holes on the simulator, and we just kept hitting shots, thinking about, well, what would that be? That's a good miss. And what's that one? That's not a good miss. We don't want that. And okay, there you go. There's the right shot. And then we got into and see this young fellow we hadn't had a lot of time with yet. Time, key word. You're going to hear this. And same thing. We got up around the green and started talking about, and we haven't really touched on this stuff. He got started late in the fall, or really midwinter, I'd say, ish. And, we haven't had the time to go out and detail short game and walk through the course and pick spots and, from 30-yard radius around the green and go about the different, details and options that are so critical to understanding and how to sort through the output and understand the difference in shot type and whatnot for each of these possible locations. And so we did a lot of that last night. And then we started talking a little bit into putting. And so we got into my 3 putting rules or drills that I call them. And, that's another thing. And so, but all of it boils down to this, is that we learned a lot last night, but there hasn't had time to develop into these things yet. And he hasn't had time to then prepare these things yet. So is he going to go out and fire a magical round Sunday? Probably not. We can hope for it. That's for sure. He's in the right position to be able to start getting to that point. It's just not fully developed and hasn't had the time. And so those are two different things. Lots of people can teach things, but it takes time to develop things. It takes time to prepare things. And that is a big part of the process that we go through if and when a player is seeking massive improvement. Not a stroke, not maybe I make a couple putts better this weekend. I'm talking 10 and 15 and 20 stroke differences. Taking a young player that's in high school, for example, I've reached out to the local high school coaches, and I don't know if anybody knows out there can get a hold of any of them. I can't get them to even have a conversation. And I know there's young players that are going through tryouts. Some of them aren't going to make it. And then there's like the 2 or 3 at the bottom end of the, team that are never going to travel and play. I can take any one of those players if they're dedicated enough to do it, and I can turn them around and get them to the top of the team by next season. I've done it many times. So, but it takes time, and that's a year's worth of work minimum for one of them young players to be able to work their way up the the pole like that. So the key word is time, and time is the issue that exists amongst almost everybody. Job, family, I got to sleep, I got to take the kids, and I agree. It's exactly why I do not play my best golf at all anymore. Well, first of all, I'm not young either. I'm aging, and the aging process sucks when it comes to trying to swing that damn golf club the best you want to. But there is time constraints in my world as well, and that's okay. I'm fine with that right now. I'm more dedicated to teaching others for sure, and getting other players that do have the time and the commitment to building this thing up and going deep, with the ability and I saw, again, I had this player in front of me last night that I knew what his old game looked like, sounded like, what it was, how he played it, and he wasn't a bad player by any stretch, but we've been working through some things that are putting him on a path, going, sometimes that, low 90 range-ish player to he's on the verge of he's going to crack the 80 mark pretty soon, sometime this year for sure. And the trajectory he's on, he could be into the low mid 70s-ish by the end of the summer. So, I got a handful of those players right now that are all on that same trajectory. So, spring is springing, and it's time to go. And there's lots of things to be done, so go back to time. Ready? In the preparation phase of things, and there's lots of ways to go about it. I custom design it for every player based off strengths and weaknesses, and we kind of go through the custom stat sheet to figure out that stuff and whatnot. But if you're gonna play your best golf, and again, so here's a prime example. You've got to dedicate a realistic amount of time. For example, not everybody can do it, and I understand that. But if you're gonna go play a round of golf, you should have an adequate amount of warm-up time. For me to feel really comfortable and ready to rock the best as I possibly can, that would require me to get to the course about 3 hours before tee time. Yeah, exactly. I know all you're like, man, I barely find time to play a round of golf. Well, I understand that, but this is a 4 hour, plus dedicated time frame of trying to swing your best and play your best, and nobody typically. Now, again, this would be different. I play every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday or whatever, something with this group of guys at this exact time at my exact course, and I never go anywhere else. Player. Now, that player might be able to walk out and basically load up with the crew and go and play some what they call there for their own game decent golf, and I get that part. But I'm talking about the out of the norm. I'm going because I signed up for a tournament, or I'm playing at a course I've never played before, or I'm playing with people I don't know type stuff. The real test of golf, not the I play with the same 3 people every time type. I get it. I understand. You're going to tell me the story. I don't ever warm up and I'll shoot to 85 every time. I'm like, I get that. That's because you're in your comfort zone. You don't feel the need to be prepared because you're not trying to improve. And on top of it, you're not putting yourself in a situation where there's uncomfortableness, a different scene, a different feel, a different everything. Of course, you're going to shoot your same old basic round because you've done it over and over and over again with the same group of people at the same place at the same time. You have comfort. You're not feeling anything. You've got to have a sense of a little nervousness and a little anxiety and a little bit of like, I got to go perform in a different way to truly understand the test of golf. And or you do it that way and that's fine. And it's so that you're not the person. So I get it. Yeah. Whatever. We're talking about people that are actually putting themselves to the test, trying to improve significantly and change their golf lives forever. And that's a test for them, and it takes time. And so I don't want them running out and just throwing a ball on the ground, just swinging away. I want them to do a proper stretch, do a proper warm-up on the range, and get a sense for how you're hitting the ball that day. Make a plan right there and then before you head out. Know what you're capable of. Know what you're doing. Be prepared. Go about things that make sense and don't waste the time you have. And that goes back to the other part, the preparation leading up. We have there's lots of them. I custom design it to the student. There's lots of preparation sessions that we want to design for every player, and we do. And you want to have your regular ones, so kind of your weekly, every week I'm going to do this, and this is, and then your additionals, your strength and weakness related stuff. So I'm not so good from this spot with this club to this pin. We need to work on that specifically and work on it a lot then and get you better at that so that you can find a increase of ability. And maybe that's another shot right there in a couple weeks. So, but you've got to have a plan. It's got to be measurable. It's got to be accountable. It's got to be a time frame requirement thing that works. And there's a lot of things. So, and for every person, this is different. There isn't a one do it this way only. That's why I have to know my players. I have to know their lives and so much more about them. And I have to custom design plans and ways to go about this so that they're not wasting the time that they do have. And then it does become very evident at one point or another where the reality is you got to practice more, you prepare more. You just have to find the time to somehow put it, or you just have to be realistic about your game, and that's the, I'll show up right at the tea time every time and I'll shoot my 85. Yes, I get it. And you're not trying to improve either. You'd like to, but you're not trying. You're not actively seeking a 10-stroke better game. And so that's a different player. You have, and congratulations, have fun, enjoy it. That's awesome. That's no difference than the four guys on a Saturday afternoon boozing it up, beers and music, having fun. And they're all shooting 120. Awesome. Are you guys having fun? Yeah, this is great. You guys are doing it right. Awesome job. Go shoot your 120s, have a blast, and enjoy the game. I commend you for doing that. It's the other realm of golf. The players seek it. You say, I know I'm old. I grew up in very around very high-end, classic U.S. Open style, private country club type environments. And they were the general feel, the general nature of how everyday activity was going about. And there was a level of understanding and prestige still held with playing the game at its best. And you didn't have, 10 guys only, maybe 5 guys only competing for the club championship and flighted, dialed down. It was 92 fellas and it was all one flight and they were all working their tails off to earn this thing. And it was a huge thing. It was such an important, it's hard to get people to understand that because I get it. Golf has become, and I'm totally for this, don't get me wrong, more of a social and more of a, that's cool and that's fine. And there's a place and time for everything. I don't rule out anything. There's a place and time for TGL. I think it's fantastic. There's a place and time for Topgolf. I think it's fantastic. Everything and anything related to getting people involved and enjoying the game, I'm all for. But the things I'm discussing right here are for the players yearning for improvement that are putting themselves to the test. And it takes time. You have to find the time, or you have to be realistic about your expectations. And that's the difference. And knowing for even myself that I don't have the time to commit to this playing the game, working on the game, practicing. I just know I can't play my best at the current time. It's just not realistic. And I'm fine with that right now. That's where we are in life. So anyhow, as always, I'm going to go ahead and close it up for now. Time. Let's keep talking about time. Let's talk about how to do these things. Like, subscribe, share, do all the fun things on the Twitterverse and the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all the things. If you would, please smash the like button here, please. I really appreciate it. And, if you haven't gotten started, if you want to know what this is all about, if you have that burning desire to be coached through a process that's going to get you where you want to be, you got to go through the evaluation lesson. Use that QR code up there. Go to my website. Anyways, P45knuckledowngolf@gmail.com, at P45KDG on Twitter, _real_P45KDG on Instagram, Facebook, P45 Knuckle Down Golf. If you look that up, you're probably going to find it. And then use the QR code with more information on the website there. And like, subscribe, share, please. It helps me out. And if you have questions, please throw them at me. Let's interact here. And if you want to come on the show and chat for a while, we'll even do that if you like to. So for now, and I'm working on some stuff, and it's been delayed a little because busy teaching. But we got some fun stuff coming down the pipeline here. Hopefully by the Masters minimum, it is right around the door, man. It's coming fast. So spring is springing. Let's go. Golf. Ryan Carpenter, P45, knocking down golf. Take care, folks.